E te iwi, koutou kua whaiwā ki te hono ki tēnei pāpahotanga o te whakataitai pāwhutu paoro o ngā rangatahi o Aotearoa. Tēnei māua te tokorua nei, e noho wai mari ana i Wainganui tēnei wāhi a tāhua kei Pulman Park, Takanini. Noho māhana mai, mātakitaki mai ngā pūkenga maha o ēnei rangatahi. Ko te rā whakamutunga, te rā o ngā rā, nā reira, kaua e haere tāwhiti. Ko te hia tīmaka, tō whakaihu waka i tēnei whakataitai. Rua mano, rua te kaumārima. Ko Sean Wilkie, Maua, ko Maya Williams, tēnei, tēnā koe Maya.
Tēnā koe, Sean. What a morning. We both love this day, don't we? The finals day. This is where we get to see the best of the best in our country. Not just the players, but the referees as we see them there. Matt Weaver, Thomas Pilkington and Caitlin Kimpton. Just what a great group of Kaiwawa for this game in terms of really player-orientated referees. So super excited about the day. First one we've got, our under-16 mixed grade, 1 of 6. I think we go 6 back-to-back today, so big day, Sean, and stoked to be part of it. Just for a final back home, we start off with our 16 finals, be the under-16 mixed into the under-16 female final, then the under-16 male final, and then that replicates itself this afternoon with our under-18 team. We see the Nelson team here. North Harbour have already come out. And Sean, just looking at their previous results, both teams undefeated as they get to this final. Now, for most watching, you might think, well, surely that's the case. But I would say, just anecdotally, thinking back there, that I would imagine quite often there's a lot of teams who probably lose one game, and that tends to happen on day one. But both of these teams, fantastic effort. Looking at Nelson's score, most of their games are very, very close, whereas North Harbour, not so much the same. So no idea which one's going to win it, but I see you've got a lot of data there, a lot of info for us to share on both of these teams.
Yes, I did have a little bit of time this morning to head around the park and to have a few conversations, some with managers, some with players, just to find out a little bit more about the two teams that we have on our screen here today. Just going back through the history a little bit here, today we are seeing the top two sides coming out of 12 teams from the under-16 mixed grade. The previous winners of 2024 was in fact the Nelson mixed team, so can they go back to back? That's what we're yet to see today. But to go into the two-team list, we have one team here from North Harbour and then the other team here from Nelson. As we see, Nelson in the blue, North Harbour in the red on the left-hand side of the screen. Nelson comprising of a lot of students coming from Waimea, Nelson Boys, Motueka High School. A few names to look out there is Liam Soper, we've got Tane Stevens, Kaiva, Parker. There's just a few names that I was given a little bit of a tip-off on, but I'm sure there's many more that are going to do their names justice throughout there on the field. And we can't go quite far past Jackson Taikato, which is currently the New Zealand under-18 mix assistant coach, along with George Durbin Burgess. So no doubt they'll have a lot of coaching ability in the sub-box there.
And the North Harbour team, as you see here, Sean, what intel did you find for us there?
So I did a little bit more scouting again, and we can't go any further past the last name in the coaching box, Moana Winiana. The Winiana whānau, of course, a huge part of the touch development, not only in North Harbour, but in particular Mahurangi College, who are the reigning mixed secondary school champions. We have 5 names in the team list: George, Corbin, Mahe, Toby and Rocky, all coming out of Mahurangi College. Not a part of the mixed team, but up-and-comers, so I hear from George. Also, Mahe Iverson, under 14s, but he's been called into the under-16 grade. Not sure if he is taking the field yet or not, but we will look out for him, number 6 for North Harbour.
Yeah, shout out to the Winiana whānau, and in particular Moana and Michael Lydia. She's doing it all, really. Coaching, used to be a ref, and then a top ref back then, and then also played for North Harbour. So the only thing she's got left to do is become the administrator for North Harbour Touch, and she would have ticked all the boxes. So with all your information, all the conversations you had this morning, you got a leaning anywhere towards one of these teams, not just in terms of your preference, but from what you heard, who you're thinking comes into this the hottest?
I think coming off the back of being reigning champs, I was over in the tent of Nelson earlier, and they seemed very relaxed, very confident, as did the North Harbour team walking across here. My pick today is going to be Nelson, but I'm very excited to see what North Harbour can put out there.
Great start from Nelson. 2 touches, and you can just see their intensity already. I think it's the number 1 in particular, really lifting up on that line. 4 touches to get here. Let's see what North Harbour can do. Just I guess a pretty regular start attacking-wise for North Harbour here, Sean.
Yeah, if this is just going to be a showcase of what's yet to come, they finished well on their close box side. Well taught there, just to give Nelson a little bit more yardage to try get to their sub-box. We see a strong press coming in early on from the North Harbour side. Very fast, very powerful game, and this is just the beginning of what we've got in store for today's broadcast.
The trend we've found, obviously, in terms of our comments over the last 2 days, is the team that is accurate through this orange zone and then also accurate down that attacking end can finish those opportunities. It's not about who gets the most opportunities, but who can finish. And we see here Nelson with a great opportunity. Nice scoop from the number 3 from Nelson, looking to go on the outside. Thought he was going to wing it, went to the link. First touchdown for Nelson, set up by their number 3, Bradley Kershaw.
All right, Te Piro Tuatahi goes to our mixed team from Nelson. It was that man Kershaw finding the in-goal quite easily there on the short side. And yes, the first point going to Nelson.
Shots fired, and I like to see this too often. I see you go down, you get a touch and you have a sub, even though you just got on the field. Not only has Bradley Kershaw done that first set of defence, he then did that attack, sprinted through, and he stayed on for some defence here. North Harbour now, though, after being shocked by that first touchdown. That was a really nice set, wasn't it, from Nelson?
Yes, we talked about winning the first 2 minutes of the game. Nelson's definitely done that here. North Harbour quick to fire shots back, unfortunately unable to turn it into points. They're quick back to their line, and it's, end to end this game so far.
Yesterday you said you've been in 4 finals of this championship, the Youth National Championship, coming second in 3, I'll term it that way, and being able to get the gold medal in 1. What's the feeling like? What was it like for you when you're preparing to run out on the field and just before the 2-minute music finishes?
Yes, fortunate enough to experience them a few times there. As we see a great scoop out of the half. That was a 7 there from Nelson. Flynn Simpkin. Good set of heels. He's matched well by some great defence. But yeah, just popping back to that quartet, the feeling never disappears of those nerves as well as excitement. And I just can definitely sort of understand how it can be difficult to get into the game for the first 2, 3, 4 minutes, but I'm sure we'll see them open up and we'll see the playbook sort of being thrown out there a little bit and just getting the keys to play with a little bit of freedom.
North Harbour, after a good set of defence, now have the ball well inside their attacking half, using some footwork. You've seen there Corbin Lees. Good D though, Nelson. Was it your 4th one you won, or was it one of the others? Did you lose 3 and then win the 4th?
Yes, it was the 4th one, the last one, and I'm not going to put it down to Waikato losing some personnel. I think it was because we worked hard over the 4 years. Nelson just tracking well through the middle, a strong touch. Unfortunately, just getting stuck in the ruck there. Nelson doing extremely well to get in behind the fly defence of North Harbour. It's definitely going to be an attacking threat later in the stages of the game.
We haven't seen them get a set to be able to start a set down on the attacking 7-metre line. We've seen all their attack come off the end of the yards, but they look lethal on the back of that. And I remember a few years ago now in the open mixed grade, the Nelson team just absolutely blew the Thames Valley off the park in terms of the yards from the defence end to the other. I thought their attack was superior off the back of yards and what it was when they had clean sets starting from the 7-metre line. Here's that opportunity.
Well, it comes as no surprise to me that the mixed touch grade is flourishing down in Nelson. It only takes some of the likes of one man in particular, Benny Anderson, the rest of the Anderson whānau down there in Nelson to rub off on kids like this, and it is truly just a display of what they've got going on down there in Nelson. And look at that, it just opens up. It almost seems a little bit too easy. Number 15 there, Graham Winera in this corner closest to our sub-box, scoops out a half. Liam Soper with the big right-to-left long ball.
Yeah, it looked really clinical, wasn't it? Just nice and calm, composed in the setup. Beautiful pass, holding his space, and great dot down there. Nelson now up to 2-0. North Harbour haven't really fired any shots, down on that attacking line. Have they, Sean? But Nelson, clinical. 3 opportunities with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, just looking like a very well-drilled side here, this Nelson under 16 mixed side. We spoke earlier about the coach, Jackson Taikato. I know that he'll be drilling into them the absolute basics that you just have to convert in order to be able to be given that freedom down on the line. Big right to left long ball, mid-air catch. The touch has been called. What great defence out on that far side wing by the Nelson winger.
We see there the importance of the three referees working as a team. Matt Weaver, Thomas Pilkington. Probably wasn't referee, on-field referee. Probably wouldn't have been able to see it from where he was, but that's why we have our sideline refs.
No stranger, these refs, to the finals field. I believe we had them a number of times over the last 2 days, and rightly so, as we see them controlling this game to the highest standard.
Oh, strong, or as you put it, meaningful touch there. Into the end goal again. Yeah. Oh, a close one, whether that was a touch or a touchdown. Happy with the referee's decision there, Sean. You subscribing to that one? It was a touchdown.
Two minds there. I think effort was incredible by the 15, Kahi from North Harbour. The call not going her way. North Harbour advanced their lead. Toru ki te kore.
Seen it in the replay. Clear touchdown. Great decision. Thomas Pilkington right on the spot. Down the sideline. Not so much the cheeky play, but we nearly seen one. We seen a few yesterday.
I must say I quite haven't seen that in my time as the boy starting to tap off on the far left wing there, but it almost worked out for them. And just like that, some clinical touch from North Harbour. The quickie setup, I thought it might have been a little bit too far over the halfway. He gets it back, step back, check, easy option there. Well put down, and the throwback to celebrate.
Just as a neutral watching the game, really needed that from North Harbour, and you just seen how pumped the try scorer there was. Finn Jones threw the ball back over his head. He was pumped, and hopefully that can really lift the North Harbour side. They can continue to fight their way back. 3-1, plenty of time to go, but Nelson been pretty dominant so far.
E whitunga mineti e toi ana I te hawhi tuatahi o tēnei kēmu, te kēmu tuatahi o te rā whakamutunga. Nelson mix taking on North Harbour in the 16 mixed division. Number 7 from Nelson goes long. Flynn Simpkin, he's got the ball on a string at the moment, finds 15. Graham Winera in the corner again for her second.
So well drilled, everyone on the same page. Play is just continuously flowing. There's no stopping for a static play or someone went to the wrong side. Beautiful touch so far from Nelson. Set up well from the boys in the middle and great finishing from the wingers, the girl wingers on the outside.
Yes, I must say I'm really enjoying the passage of plays that both teams are putting together. It doesn't seem robotic, and what we can see is that they are trying one move, they're trying another move, but then they're going back to the first move once manipulating defenders, and it's just such a clean style of touch.
Oh, Harbour nearly get in there. And to that point, it's not just 3 random moves in terms of how well drilled they are. It's the sequencing that they're doing, aren't they? Manipulating the defence, trying this option on touch 2, knowing that if that doesn't work, we go to this one, touch 4, and we'll finish with that one on touch 5. So we talk about how well coached they are. It's one thing to be well coached. It's another to go out there on their big occasions and implement the game plan, and they're doing a great job of that so far, Nelson.
Yeah, the man out of half here just doing extremely well to hold the ball up, get him behind the defence. Wow, what a clinical touchdown there from Nelson. He piro anō ki te tima mai te pounamu.
Yeah, the Trillion Trust replay showing us not just coming to this left-hand side. And again, who knows the likelihood. They've scored 2 there. They're probably thinking North Harbour will adjust to that right-hand side defensively. So now they've gone on to the other side. Sean, you've been in finals where it feels like that tsunami is against you. And from the tap-off, look, 5-1, Nelson. Are these the types of mistakes that creep in? What's it like? How do you combat that? How do you stay in the grind and then weather the storm and come out ready to go on the other side?
For sure, it's definitely a mental battle when you start getting down on yourself a little bit, when it seems as though nothing's sort of going your way, but all they need is maybe a defensive stop of their own, a try to get back on the board and lower that deficit, and I'm sure it'll give them the confidence they need going into the second half.
Does the way you play change? Do you go away from more high-risk things and it's all about getting down the other end of the field on yards? Again, they've created a 2-on-1 on that side. No man's land. Unfortunately, for the winger there for North Harbour, having to take 2-on-1. They've been attacking this left-hand side. Steps off his left, throws the skip ball to the link, acres of space. 6-1, Nelson.
Just a beautiful brand of touch that Nelson are putting out there today. As far as I can see, it's almost probably the perfect performance, probably something they've been building towards throughout the whole tournament, almost somewhat saving it for this final game. And while we've seen 2 tries coming out that back door, we like to call it a tuck or a pocket, and it just almost seems as though it's something that's pre-rehearsed, but why fix it if it's not broken? As we see North Harbour, 5th and final on the line of Nelson. Defence up to the job there. Bradley, Kershaw. Easy touch in the end there with Nelson looking to work towards their sub-box and getting some fresh legs on.
Sort of going back to what I was talking about previously, if you're in the Nelson team, what would you be doing on attack for the rest of this half?
I think it would be important to keep going down those channels that you know are working at the moment. It is easy to think, oh, we've done this a few times, let's try something different. But I think as we see here, they take the scoop out of the half, they take the short option. We saw that link sitting in the tuck option again. They are changing up their options, but they are getting the same looks.
Does Nelson need to do North Harbour needs to do anything different on defence? Is it around trying to stop them from getting to your line and lifting up more instead of sending 1, sending 2, 3?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a hard picture to defend is what Nelson's throwing towards them. I think because they're able to get touch 4 and touch 5 quite far out, they can afford to sort of just trust their defence. If that means that they shut a little bit earlier and let them throw those long balls, the percentage going long is a little bit lower than it is going to those short passes.
I think one thing I really like about the game is the referees in terms of how physically fit they are. And I think sometimes when you're starting to blow a little bit, that penalty seems to creep in a little bit easier. But I can't even remember the last time we had a penalty, and I'm sure there'd be less than the amount of fingers on my hand. So great standard set, a great mindset that these referees have come to allow these teams to play, and Nelson surely have. Again, we've seen that North Harbour player offside, but the play-through call was given there by Matt Weaver. Fantastic refereeing. See that touchdown in this left corner.
He piro anō kia Nelson. E toru ngā piro ki tērā wahine, number 15, Graham Winera. 3 tries in this close side corner to us. Wow, just such clinical touch coming out of this Nelson side.
Talked about pre-game how close Nelson's scores were versus North Harbour, who had actually put quite sizable margins on the teams they played, but see your comment around Nelson potentially saving it up for the big dance. Talk about big game players and big game teams, but great effort there from North Harbour. No, a forward pass. You have to have some of those, you know. The only thing that wrecks a good try is a forward pass. Yeah,
for sure. We spoke about just earlier how amazing the referees have been in this game so far as we see the long strides of that man, number 4, Liam Soper down the sideline.
He's called the touch. I think it was the number 5 from North Harbour. Chased him down. What a fantastic chase. Benjamin Scott, is it?
Yeah, what a absolute effort. And now he's back in the middle defending his line.
He makes another one. 2 try-saving touches.
Wow, that is incredible. What ticker from the young man.
Probably the first time we've seen Nelson's attack be somewhat disjointed. They've, as you said, flawless. Been absolutely flawless the first 14 minutes of this game. Maybe the lungs are hurting a little bit as we see there Liam Soper.
Yeah, I can't go quite far past number 9 for Nelson at the moment. Tania Stevens, he is having one hell of a game. He has the ball on a string. He's making it look almost effortless out there as we see North Harbour taking a short side scoop there. Nelson defending well with 30 seconds left on the clock. I'm sure both teams are looking forward to halftime orange, bit of some Waimaori and a little bit of a break.
The refs will need a break too, end to end. What we like in the finals, this is the reason why I like the finals, when you've got the 2 best teams, and the scoreline might suggest that there's a bit of a gap between these 2 teams, but the quality of touch has been fantastic. Nelson have just had one of those halves where everything has gone well. Sneaking through again, a play through from referee Weaver. Fantastic refereeing again, mate.
And as we hear The bell in the background. Kua mutu te hawhi, tuatahi, hoki mai aqua nei. 7-1 the score.
For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, the mahi never stops. Nominate the unsung heroes in your touch community that go above and beyond. They could win $5,000 to invest into the sport we love. Nominate today.
Kia ora touch whānau, welcome to Quick Hit, your short, sharp and touch relevant warm-up, with the aim of warming up and moving those important body parts before kicking into activity. The Quick Hit warm-up requires minimal space, minimal time, and allows for innovation.
For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, the mahi never stops. Nominate the unsung heroes in your touch community that go above and beyond. They could win $5,000 to invest into the sport we love. Nominate today.
Kia ora te iwi and welcome back to the halftime break of this, the first game on the last day of the 2025 Bunnings Warehouse Youth Nationals here at Bruce Pulman Park at Takanini. Joined in commentary by Sean Wilkie. Sean, first half we just talked about in the halftime break, was not expecting that scoreline, were we?
Ai, te wā mari e hoki ki te mā taki tēnei kēmu tuatahi. Te pukinga maha o enei rangatahi, I did not expect this. The results prior to this revealed that it could potentially be an extremely close game. However, I don't doubt that North Harbour are going to come back from this halftime break firing, especially with the deficit that's on the scoreboard at the moment. I'm sure they'll come back with a chip on the shoulder with a point to prove.
It'll be interesting to see what does happen in the second half, simply because I think the word that comes to mind with the Nelson performance is clinical, because it's not like it's been at 1,000 miles an hour, but they've just done everything with purpose and they've done everything accurate. I still think they've probably got a gear to go when it comes to, I guess, speed. So it'll be interesting to see what the coaches of North Harbour had. We talked about the incredible work that they've done over this tournament and in the last few years, so it'll be interesting to see what they've given North Harbour, but I still think Nelson have got another gear in them.
I do agree, as we see the beautiful rugby dive put down there for Nelson's 5th try, I believe, and we have that man with the ball on the string, Tane Stevens, playing a very clinical game himself, as we see the wider view here. Jackson Taikoto, the coach of Nelson, with the backpack on in the sub-box, calm as ever.
Oh, I like that from North Harbour. We've seen that, how Nelson started defensively. They really come up. They didn't just roll back to their score line and let the attack come to them. This is the 4th touch now. Good work there from Nelson, ensuring that, North Harbour. Oh, again, defensively so good. It honestly seems as if they have an extra player.
Yes, Nelson are just playing down that same channel. It's worked once, it's worked twice, and it works again as we see them run that 32 peel platform on the far left-hand side, throwing the short, long option, left to right long ball, hits the dime every time.
So you've said a couple of times now they're going down that same channel. So then defensively, what do North Harbour need to do? How do they need to defend that channel differently?
I think they just need to sort of loosen up their defence a little bit somewhat, because we see the long ball being the option every time, and maybe also just taking a bit of time off the ball player, putting some more pressure on him. It almost just seems like he's got 3 or 4 seconds to get that ball away, and in the game of touch, that's far too long.
North Harbour, though, what can they do? Gets on the outside, great foot speed. Liked what we've just seen there. Lincoln James, Blitvich, Young. First touchdown for North Harbour. Excellent hit back. He just catches it and then almost goosies on the outside at the same time, doesn't he? Has the leg speed to get on the outside. Well done there, Lincoln James.
Yeah, that's just touch IQ there. With the mismatch, they went to the quickie platform, made sure that all of the defenders were in quite tight, thinking that the short play was going to be the option. And this is exactly what North Harbour needed. They get the point, they get the dot down, they get a defensive stop before their try line, and now they get to yard out with another opportunity.
You talked about loosen up. Are you simply meaning that the wink and linger, the link and winger just take an extra couple of steps out towards the sidelines that they're closest to?
Yeah, I think so, and it's easy for me to say up here, but sometimes that can just be what the downfall is the fact that they are just those 1 or 2 steps too tight and not trusting the middle defence enough. As we see Nelson almost virtually replicating what we are talking about. They are just those extra few steps out there, and that extra man on the outside is non-existent.
That's a good attack from North Harbour, but great D. Brooke Hutchinson, as you say, positioned herself perfectly so she could help if she needed to inside, but then was able to chase out.
Tane Stevens back on the field. He does well to drag that defender out, looking as though he's going to drive straight out of half. North Harbour defender called offside. I think that is the right call there.
Yeah, great call. Definitely the right call. Looked like he took 2 or 3 steps back. I'll just stay out of this. I'd love for you to be able to talk us through what North Harbour should be doing as Nelson attacked them.
I think there we saw the touch was about 10 to 12 metres out, and it then means, they can't necessarily have a live strike at the line, as they are here. The ball was played on the 7-metre line, and he can get to the try line a lot more efficiently, a lot quicker than what they can when the touch is 10 to 12 metres out. So I think North Harbour just need to sort of take the time away from him. If he throws that big miracle pass out to the left-hand wing into the wind, and they get that dot down, at least there's, it's a 50-50 chance here. No, it's not. It's a 100% chance. Who am I kidding? It's Nelson, number 12 in the corner, Petra Sederman. There was no 2 doubts about that one. I think they did have it covered through the middle section there, did North Harbour. The winger maybe looking to stay out wider.
It's a case of choosing your poison, right? Like, do you want to allow a team to be able to score anywhere they want, or actually close up the middle, and if you're going to scoring us on the outside, we'll fix this problem first and then we'll see what we can do to sort of solve that one?
Yes, well, we have talked about forcing them to throw the long ball because it's a lower percentile play, but here it almost looks like Nelson's go-to is the long ball, given the strength of their wahine out on the wing there.
Right. Oh, he can save tries and he can set him up too. Referee takes 2 steps back. Great work there. We see in the setup, Benjamin Scott, the number 5, created that space. And then we see Rihanna Sullivan.
Just back to basics was that from North Harbour. They went back to that quickie platform. We've seen it before. They ran it. They did the bounce-out play in the previous try. They got on the outside of the link girl and scored a try there. This time, they fake it. They scoop out of the half. So we're not straying too far from a similar platform, except the options are different, and it's just great touch to see.
Absolutely. Well done, Rianne Sullivan. 3rd touchdown for Harbour, the 2nd of this half. Backdoor play, do they do it again? No, they fake the backdoor. So many options this Nelson team have. That would be almost, I would say, nearly the 12th different play that they've shown us in this game already, Sean. Most teams don't have more than 5.
Yes, normally their key players' names can often be highlighted from the start of the game, and we can talk about them as I have with a few of these Nelson players. However, I just can't quite pick who's going to be on the ball, who's going to be the attacking threat. When you've got 14 players out there that are all of the same ability, both sides of the field, it's just a spectacle.
We were blown away yesterday with the ability of that Counties under-16s team. They just looked like a team that had come from a different grade. You sort of get that same sense with this Nelson team, don't you? Would be surprised, as you said, in terms of the schools that they come from. A lot of these players playing a lot of touch together. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
For sure, that familiarity of knowing the people left and right of you and just sort of almost not even needing to talk, as I'm sure these boys are here. They almost know exactly what their role is. We see them go short side for almost the 4th or 5th time of this game. Referee sees, think a holding penalty, yes, is what is signalled in the corner there.
Good work, North Harbour. That's the second opportunity in a row that hasn't come to fruition, and that's from Nelson. North Harbour. Making those changes on defence. Putting a little bit extra pressure on. I thought she made the right read, the winger. She looked like she stopped, about to come in and shut down that play, but continued to go out. Unfortunately, it's Nelson go over. I think this is their 10th touchdown.
Yeah, Simpkin there just getting the quickie on the outside, sees the numbers, no need for the step back, just a simple catch and pass does it, and Nelson almost walk over for their 10th try of the game.
And those touchdowns, that's nothing on the winger, right? They can only work with whatever the middles give them to work with. And when you've got 2-on-1 all day, it's almost impossible. But here he is, this time, not being able to finish things off.
Yeah, we can't fault the effort here of North Harbour as we see a mistake, unfortunately, comes to fruition there. They still get back on side. They're still working as hard as they were right from the first minute. A voluntary touch was the appeal there, but not meant to be.
The body language of Flynn Simpkin too sort of suggested it wasn't voluntary touch.
And another one from deep in the playbook there, looking like they were going to the tuck option, but running a very deep late cut. I like that option there from Nelson.
Kershaw and Sopper for Nelson look very similar. They're really intense in the way, particularly in their yards. I like they're hungry for as many metres as they can. Strong in the roll ball, fundamentally really sound. Fantastic players to have in your team with regards to setting the platform you need to attack off.
I totally agree there. We've just seen a lot of players from the Nelson side just really knowing what their role is and doing whatever that role is extremely well to an extremely high level. One of those, number 1, Nixon Marfell, he's had a great game where his job has been simple. He comes on the field, he sets great platforms, but he's also been an extreme threat out of dummy half, which as a coach, you can't ask for much more.
You see it there, strong yard, backed up by another strong yard. 25 metres in those 2 touches.
And here he is again, Nixon Marfell. Looked for the sweeper, the option wasn't there. We see him scoot out a half. Bit of footwork, North Harbour not quite getting back on side there, so Nelson will get a recount on the line.
Yeah, just been caught short. I'm not sure if there's any confusion as to which white line is the one they need to be, but just a couple of times they've been caught short. Marfell, though, what does he do? Yeah, you've seen the referee in the back waving the arms like a bird flapping their wings, calling the play offside. Nice early proactive communication, letting the attacker know to play through, play advantage. Gets that touchdown. I think that's now 11. 11-3. I wouldn't say Nelson are playing at the level they were in the first half, but they're definitely doing what they need to.
Yeah, just some great footwork is all that really set that try up there for Marfell. I thought it was a good read coming from the North Harbour link. Maybe just a step too eager. He also got fooled a little bit by the footwork there. So, yeah, we must pay kudos to Nixon Marfell. A great little bit of individual brilliance there.
I think when you see the quality of play, you forget this is the under-16 grade.
Absolutely.
That's been the most impressive thing for me this weekend is every now and then remembering this is an under-16 grade, just the quality of the touch, not relative to their age, but relative to what quality touch looks like. So
definitely the skill set has just been that one of those that can be admired by many throughout the grades. I'm sure the Opens level players will be watching this and thinking, yep, we've got a few talented rangatahi on our toes, that's for sure. So we see North Harbour get a turnover.
Pakore, no touch. First no touch penalty was seen all game. North Harbour probably just that tad too far. Oh, I like that. Good handles. It almost looked like the ball rolled. Yeah, making sure the referee knew. Got to move forward. Again to the refereeing. Outstanding. Sean, you're a current player. I imagine you would have liked to be in games where it's allowed to flow like this, but that 7 metre is well managed.
Yes, well, we speak almost the entirety of the game on the players, which, hey, the main focus typically is them. The less we speak about the referees, but I do have to pay a big mihi to these referees in particular today. They've had an outstanding game. They've refereed this game perfectly, and it has been just a spectacle from them.
North Harbour trying to the bitter end. 3.5 to go. Can they do here? Went inside himself. Referee takes 2 steps back. They actually had numbers on that right-hand side, 3-2, but didn't need the numbers. Really like this dive. Gets a quickie, gets on the outside and just goes under. And that's the difference between a slam dunk and a dive like that. Fantastic skill shown there by George Innes.
Yeah, as you say, he just slid the ball in well. When you're that low to the ground, there's not a lot as a defender you can do there. We do try teach our defenders to get as low as possible when retreating to the line, but when you're like George Innes and you can get the ball that low to the ground from that far out, it's almost impossible to stop.
North Harbour, great set of D. Still have that belief. Here she is, Sullivan. She had a fantastic second half. Rianne Sullivan. North Harbour now with fresh legs. I'll be coming back to the middle. Setting up for a drive.
North Harbour with a little bit of footwork down on the line was Corbin Lees. Unfortunate not there to turn it into points. 11-4 the score. E rua ngā mineti e toi ana I tēnei kēmu, te kēmu tuatahi. With Nelson working up this sideline, they are just relentless on the yards with 28 minutes through the game, and it almost doesn't seem like they have buttoned off at all.
More mistakes in the second half, and I guess not surprising. North Harbour needing to try a lot more, and probably Nelson having the ability to try a lot more. Impressed with that first half. It's been a lot more closer battle in the second half, which has actually been fantastic. North Harbour showing that character and resilience. Again, great yards by Sullivan. She's really tried to lift her team in the second half, defensively and on attack. Platform, beautiful set there. What is it? Thought maybe could have been offside, but no, good call from the referee. Ball to ground.
Yeah, just a great drive coming in there from George Innes. He head down and he just went extremely hard down there. He got great yards and unfortunately not there to turn it into points again, but we see that man, Nixon Marfell, coming onto the field. He's got gas. A great touch from the North Harbour middle.
So it looks like you're 1 from 1 with your predictions. Although I guess taking reigning champions is not the most courageous call. So we see them going again for their 12th. Nelson is peppering this left-hand side in the second half. Simple 33 scoop. Looks up for what option, decides to go long. Beautiful catch there by the winger from Nelson.
Yes, well, I mentioned that name, Marfell, but it was Kershaw this time. He thought, no, I can take this one out of half, and it's my turn to get a little try assist here.
North Harbour with the last opportunity of the game to see if they can get across the line. Strong touch, good touch there from the middle. Well placed were the defenders for Nelson. Seem to have everything covered, don't they?
As we hear the final hooter sound, ko whakatū te kapa toa whakaihu waka. Nelson victors over North Harbour. Ka aroha kia te kapa no North Harbour. He kimu tino miharo tēnā whakanuia i ngā tima e rua. Wow, what a great spectacle that was. The first of our 5 finals following this, 6 in total. What an incredible game.
Grand final. Congratulations to our 2025 champions, whānau mahomai te paki for Nelson. Congratulations, Nelson, our victors. Also, congratulations to North Harbour. What an awesome final, whānau. Our prize giving will take place.
Players, referees,